We just jump right in.
Sure.
Cool. Hello.
Uh,
We
oh,
are
oh.
back. We're starting right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely expected. I was doing the intro. I
Oh
realized
yeah, I
recently
know.
that, or I recently, how am I gonna phrase this? I recently watched a video that definitely opened my eyes to how I cannot be as controlling as I am in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
creative stuff,
Yeah.
and how to redirect that energy to lift other people up. So
Oh good.
please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I know. I was like, I'm gonna do it this time.
Yeah.
We're back. We're back from a 2 week hiatus, right?
Yeah, this would have
It's
been the
been
third
two
week, yeah,
weeks.
so.
Yeah, and we squeezed it in this week after I made Cody reschedule twice
It's not bad. It's fine.
because I
Again,
didn't have a
trying to
desk.
be more flexible and lift other people up.
Very good. I love that. I love that phrase for you. Be more flexible and lift people up. I love that. That's good. Um, yeah, so I have a very fancy desk now. It's so fancy that Hollis and their boyfriend have been working on it for like 3 days and it's not done yet.
What kind of desk
It's
is it?
like, well, okay, so it's an IKEA desk.
Mm.
One. Two, it has, so it's like gigantic. It has drawers on one side and then it has a cabinet door on the other side. And then it has like all the shelving on top of it. You know,
Ooh,
like those old kind of like roll
yeah.
down desks? It's like that except without the roll down.
Oh, that's
But
so cool.
I know, I finally got unemployment.
Ah,
I've been waiting
yes.
for like 4 months, so um
Yeah.
like the day that I was moving, just like, oh, you have $10,000 dropped into your bank account.
Ooh.
And I'm like, what? So my first purchase was like actually good furniture for my
Yeah.
bedroom. $25 donation monthly to Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
Um what else? Oh yeah, I bought a lot of takeout for my friends. There was, oh yeah, also just like put like a ton of money into savings, like more than I have ever had
That's
at
good.
once
Yeah.
in a bank account. I was like, oh my god. So, I'm like chilling. So
Good.
it's good.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. And
A little
our
bit of
house
a
is,
stress relief after you move.
yes, it is. Also, I'm just gonna say that like moving while being disabled fucking sucks. Like, I did not realize
Yeah.
how badly it sucked until I was like, oh wait, I can't do all these things until Hollis and Matthew put these things together for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
and like, we're also all like disabled to some extent, just
Mm-hmm.
like not in the same ways. So it's like three disabled
Maneuvering through
people
all of
living
that.
together trying
Okay, I need you
to
to do this for me, but can you
yeah.
do this for me? Can you also, like, can we do an exchange of labor?
Exactly. No, that's literally
uh,
what it is. Like, if you put my desk together, I will pamper you for the next like 3 hours while you try to regain all your energy.
AKA teamwork.
AKA teamwork, disabled teamwork.
That's fun.
Um, yeah, I can safely say that I have not felt any spirits yet.
Okay.
Hollis is also very much on the spectrum of don't fuck with it. This is my house too. You are not going to be contacting any deceased spirits or bringing anything into my
So
home.
no Ouija board in the apartment, but
No Ouija board in the
they didn't
apartment, but
say in the
maybe,
building.
yeah, yeah, and maybe I could like find a special spot in the graveyard across the street to
Mm-hmm.
like keep all my scary stuff. But
I was gonna say like in the laundry room, and if it's in the basement, but you already said the laundry's in your room.
yeah, yeah, and the laundry is in my walk-in closet.
Yeah.
It's I'll have to show you like the architecture of this apartment because it's fucking kind of wild.
Sounds
But
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, it's good though. Um, anyway, so that's my life update.
Cool.
What are your life updates, Cody?
Still unemployed. I'm going. Well, I meant to check in on a bunch of stuff this week, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. As far as like cold calling people
Mm.
or like places that I applied to, and be like, "Hello, I applied like 2 months ago. Are you still hiring?"
Yeah.
which just that doesn't come easy to me, so I'm stressed about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also going to text my former job on Monday, which is like the earliest I could possibly do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, part of me feels like I've been like unconsciously waiting for that day to like do all these
Mm-hmm.
things, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when I get stressed out about stuff like that, I just like tend to avoid it until the
Right, like
last possible
I'm
minute.
one of those people that shut down
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing the things that they're supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah.
So, instead of calling all these jobs, instead of calling Goodwill or whatever and asking if they take uh, donations now,
Mm-hmm.
I've just been playing a lot of video games. Specifically,
Nice.
one video game.
Which one?
Slime Rancher?
Slime Rancher?
Yes, you've got all your like little slimes. You've
You've
got like
got all what?
you've got like the generic pink slimes that like eat whatever. You've got like rock slimes that eat vegetables. Crystal slimes. You've got rad slimes that are like radioactive. You've got like a bunch of different slimes. You've got like tabby slimes, like cat slimes that eat
What do you
chickens. So you
what
basically,
shapes do the slimes take? Is my question. I just can't
hmm
imagine what slime looks like.
yeah. So they're like little blobs. But like
Okay.
the pink slimes are like the generic ones, so they're just like pink blobs.
Uh-huh.
The tabby slimes have like little cat ears and tails. The rock slimes have like little rock protruding out of them, and the crystal slimes have like little
Nice.
crystals protruding.
Hmm.
And basically, like when you feed them, they poop out like they're called plorts, and you can turn them in for money. And so
Okay.
like basically, you're just taking care of all these slimes on a ranch.
So basically,
Hmm
the real life equivalent would be if snail poop was worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like, just want to get this straight.
yeah. You're
That's
just taking
so
care of little
funny.
creatures
Oh my gosh, I love
on a
that.
ranch.
Slime.
Hmm
That's funny. That's good. That sounds a lot more fun than making phone calls.
Yeah, so that's all I've been doing for like the past week and a half.
Mm.
It's not good.
Yeah. Sorry about it. Sorry, bro.
Just gotta get my life back on track, you know.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Turning over a new leaf, as Em and Christine would say, this
Oh.
week.
Do they see that?
On the most recent episode, or one of them, I don't know.
Mm.
I like wait a couple weeks now to binge them, so I might be a little bit off
Mm.
in terms of timing. But at some
Yeah.
point, Christine was like, "Oh, turning over a new leaf because of fall."
Oh, oh yeah. Now I'm remembering that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a brief mention.
Yeah. Yeah.
I latch on to weird stuff like that sometimes, and I can't even,
No, I do
sometimes
too.
I latch on to that, and then I can't remember what I'm actually supposed to be doing, so.
Mm. Valid.
Cool.
Well, want to tell me a scary story? Scary
Yeah.
murder story?
Um, I thought about maybe not doing the story this week, since you just
Mm.
moved, and it's about stalking.
Okay.
And I was like, once again, we're kind of at a crossroads in which is this an appropriate
Yeah.
time to bring this up? But
I
today we're going to
mean,
be talking about Rebecca Schaefer.
okay. So is this the stalking story or a different story?
A stalking story or what?
Or a different story?
This is a stalking story.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not giving
Sorry.
you a choice
I
here.
thought okay. I thought you said that you weren't gonna do it. And I was like, "What?" Okay, cool. I am ready. Every time you're like worried that something's gonna scare me, I feel like it just makes the story better because I'm like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. So this week I did the story a while ago, like I think right before we originally planned to record again.
Mm.
And then we didn't record.
Mm.
And so then I was actually planning on doing a different one this week. But I decided to play Slime Rancher all week instead of doing notes for that, so you only have this one choice. Once
Okay.
again.
I'm ready.
I really don't want to get in the habit of giving you choices, but
Oh yeah, no, totally. Like, don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
okay.
I signed up for this.
Okay, because I was like, I can totally try to do that
Oh
if need
no,
be.
no,
All right.
no, it's fine.
So today you do not have a choice. Today we're going to be, you're going to be hearing about Rebecca Schaefer, who
Okay.
was a kind of a well-known actress in the '90s,
Hmm.
fairly popular. Not the '90s. the decade before in the 80s. That's what it's called. She she was born in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, in November of 1967. She was raised by a Jewish family and initially wanted to become a rabbi before she began modeling school.
Hey.
And this is the story that you suggested to me at some point. There was like, I don't know, I remember you sent me a text about this.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I remember the name Rebecca Schaefer, and I think I know what the story is.
Okay. Before I
Yeah.
get to Diva, I just wanted to make sure that
Hmm.
I don't know what I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure, but I vaguely recall you sending me a text about it, so I bookmarked
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Um,
that's so sweet.
I guess I was just wondering if you were like interested in it because she was Jewish. I don't know.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm always interested if someone is Jewish.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just realized my window's open. Should probably close that. So the farmer's market's over, but I still worry about residual baby screaming. All right.
Residual baby screaming. That could be applied to like a paranormal concept too, you know.
My
I
aunt
mean,
sent a text to the group chat, like the full extended family group chat, saying he was. She asked my dad, "What's the address for the city dump?" And I was like, "That's not ominous." Like,
Nana, what are you doing?
oh god.
You hauling a dead body there in your really old car? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not even a dump. It's just a recycling center. I don't think they take
Oh,
like waste.
like dead bodies.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only recycling. So I,
They probably don't take dead bodies.
there's several ways you can recycle a dead body. So
Hmm.
no.
I mean, I did just watch the "And That's Why We Drink" episode about Jeffrey Dahmer,
Mm-hmm.
so
Exactly.
I now know
Yeah.
at least one way to recycle a body.
Oh, all the ways.
Oh
Um,
God.
what was the saying? Oh, let me count the ways. No. Okay, back to the story.
Okay.
Yes, so Rebecca Schaefer was born in Oregon. She was raised Jewish and initially wanted to become a rabbi before she began modeling in high school. She moved to New York and Japan to pursue her modeling career, but she found it difficult to land gigs because of her height and weight. I mean, she was 5'7", which is like
Mm.
1.7 meters, if you need that in meters.
So, did they want taller or shorter?
Yeah, most model agencies require women to be between 5'8" and 5'10", according to my brief
Oh,
Google
okay.
search.
Got it.
And as, like, I don't even know, I didn't even look up the weight requirements because I
Hmm.
don't want to know.
Yeah. We can just assume that's bad,
Yeah.
you know?
In 1986, Rebecca had just returned to New York from Japan and struggled to make ends meet by working as a matron? No. As a waitress while continuing to audition for acting roles. Sorry.
Mhm.
One day, when she returned to her apartment, she found a note from a Warner Brothers producer who had seen her on the cover of an issue of 17 magazine, asking her to come and audition for a new TV series called My Sister Sam. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I wrote these notes 2 weeks ago, and I kind of brushed up on them before we started, but
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah. I'm just gonna start from the beginning of that bullet point. Sorry.
Do it. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Believer. Are you a true believer?
Belieber?
Believer. It's a Justin Bieber
I
reference. Did you
know.
never get this?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I know all too well, and
Okay.
I was very surprised that you brought it up. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Did my heartfelt comment just get not heartfelt because I said believe instead of believe?
we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Okay. So she ended up getting the role and played a character named Patty Russell, who is described as a, quote, free spirit who moves in with her sister, Samantha Russell, a San Francisco photographer. Samantha Russell was played by actress Pam Dauber, who was also kind of a popular, well-known actress at the time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Rebecca's friends that said, quote, she was perfect for the part, a mixture of youthful radiance and dizzy charm, according to the Eugene Register Guard, which is a local newspaper. The show My Sister Sam took off and ranked in the top 25 shows during the first season, but its ratings fell steeply in the second season and was ultimately canceled halfway through airing the second season in April of 1988. Rebecca had supporting roles in a few other shows afterwards, and she also served as a spokesperson for a charity called Thursday's Child, which is a collection of hotlines for endangered youth. Youth.
The Yowths are after us. The Yowths are destroying the world.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Destroying the paper napkin industry.
Yeah. I also want to make a note. Take a second here to make sure that you don't click on the link on the Wikipedia article. It takes you to a scam website.
Oh no.
I don't know who put that in, what happened to the original like redirect, but if you want to know more about the organization, which is still active to this day, search for them on like Google or Bing or whatever your
Got it.
preferred search engine is.
And what did the scam look like? What?
It was just porn.
Oh,
Just don't.
what the fuck? That's.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Just.
That sucks.
Yep. In the 3 years following the end of My Sister Sam, a man named Robert John Bardo became increasingly obsessed with Rebecca. He had seen her on the show and had written her a bunch of letters, one of which she answered. One time, she sent him a signed photograph with a generic message of encouragement written on the back. These sorts of items were not, like, weird or uncommon to send at the time. Like, that was kind of like the way that celebrities or actors and actresses connected with their fan base. And in 1987, yes, 1987, in 1987, Bardo traveled to LA to try to meet Rebecca, but the production company's security turned him away. He tried again a month later armed with a knife, but again, the guards were like, goodbye, buddy.
Did the guards know that he had a knife?
Yes.
So, oh.
Like, I think he ended up threatening them with the knife, and they were like, goodbye. Please go away. Like, definitely do not welcome.
Good, but if someone was there, like, threatening with a knife, I would have. I would want, like, more security than just being like, okay, bye. Kind of like.
Right, I don't know the full extent to,
Yeah.
like, was he briefly detained? I don't really know.
Yeah. Seems weird.
Yeah. Here we are. For the next 2 years, Bardo moved to Tucson, which I never know how to pronounce, Arizona, and turned his attention to pop singers Debbie Gibson, Madonna, and Tiffany Darwish. But his focus shifted back to Rebecca when he saw her in a sex scene in a film called Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills. And I bet you can guess what happened next.
Yep.
He became jealous and enraged.
Yeah.
And he decided that Rebecca was just, quote, another Hollywood whore. Yippee.
His level of entitlement already is just so extreme.
Indeed. He had seen
God.
how Arthur Richard Jackson had stalked and stabbed Teresa Saldana, I think is how you say her name, in 1982, and he plotted his own attack on Rebecca. He hired a private detective to find Rebecca's home address in the California DMV records, then asked his brother to help him acquire a Ruger, I think is the brand name.
Yeah.
You know, this is a prime example of I should probably look up how to pronounce all these names before we start.
I mean, is it a type of gun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ruger GP 100 357 handgun.
I mean, I personally think it's good when civilians don't know that much about guns.
That's
so
true. That is true.
I'm on board.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was sitting at Starbucks and there were these two guys next to me with, like, I assume they're, like, daughters or whatever, like, they're small children,
Yeah.
like, who were probably, like, 7 or 8, and they were just casually talking in the Starbucks about guns. Like, not just hunting, but just, like, oh yeah, I have this one gun or whatever, like, you know, talking about their friends' guns, and I was like, this isn't a Seattle Starbucks.
What the fuck?
I guess I can't really expect anything less or more.
Yeah.
Or anything else, honestly. But just, like, It really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Just casually into Starbucks.
It, where was it?
I don't remember.
But like not in Seattle.
No, 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 in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember which district or like which
Hmm.
area, and I don't remember.
Yeah. I once had a conversation, well, 3 hour conversation, because I was waiting for my wheelchair to be worked on. But I was at the wheelchair repair shop, and there was this older guy who was a Vietnam War veteran, and he owned a gun shop. And we had
Hmm.
some very interesting conversations while we were waiting for our respective wheelchairs to be repaired.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. I do not get guns. And then like same thing, he like started trying to talk to me about like different guns. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I think it
What?
was just like they weren't trying to convince me about anything. They didn't even talk to me. They were
Mhm.
just talking to each other while their like kids played at the
Yeah,
Starbucks or like
yeah.
colored together or whatever.
The kids like being there is what makes it really creepy to me.
Right, they're
I
just
feel like,
casually while their kids are just hanging out, and I don't know.
yeah,
It was just weird, but I guess like
yeah.
people with guns also drink coffee, so like whatever. Um,
Yeah, that's
I feel like
very
that's something
true.
they would have on a shirt somewhere. Um, Anyways, yeah, okay, so he asked his brother to help him acquire the handgun because, surprise, he was only 19 and had a record of mental health issues.
Mm,
So, two things that are kind of red flags there.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
not necessarily that he had mental health issues, because, like, that can mean a whole number of things, but,
Hmm.
like, his
But
brother
like
helped
that,
him out.
yeah, and that he like consciously did the loophole to
Mm-hmm.
get a gun.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that makes the intent like so much stronger. And, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Bardo traveled back to LA from Tucson in 1989 and scoped out Rebecca's neighborhood, asking around to verify that Rebecca lived at the address he was given. Then he went to her door and rang the doorbell. She answered,
Mm.
expecting it to be someone delivering a script for an audition. They had a brief conversation during which Bardo showed her the letter and signed photographs she had sent him. She then asked him to leave and to not come to her home again. An hour later, he
Mm.
returned. He said she opened the door with a, quote, cold look on her face. He pulled out his handgun and shot her point blank in the chest. Rebecca was
Mm.
rushed to the hospital, but 30 minutes after being admitted, she was declared dead.
Oh my god.
The day after Bardo shot Rebecca, Tucson police picked him up when motorists reported a man running through traffic on Interstate 10. He immediately confessed to the murder and was convicted of capital murder on a trial by judge without a jury and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Also, fun fact: the prosecutor on this case was Marcia Clark, who was also the prosecutor on the O.J. Simpson case.
Oh,
I don't know if you've
nice.
seen that show on Netflix.
Yeah, I like started watching it and then.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
the character that Sarah Paulson plays,
Oh, okay.
she was the prosecutor on Rebecca Schaefer's case as well.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, Rebecca's case called for the country's first anti-stalking laws to be pushed forward in 1990, and those laws that they were pushing turned into the Privacy Protection Act, which was signed by Bill Clinton in 1994. And it
Cool.
meant that the DMV could no longer release personal information to private citizens. It also makes it illegal for DMVs to sell this personal information, sort of. The nuances of this law make it impossible really to know for sure, and I found like a bunch of like Fox News articles complaining
Hmm.
about information being sold. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, on one hand Fox News, on the other hand, my privacy.
Yeah.
So I was
Hmm.
kind of like scrolling through and I'm like, couldn't really come to a conclusion whether or not it's like illegal or not.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mostly because exceptions to this law of you can't release personal information or sell personal information. The exceptions to this law include but are not limited to insurance companies, towing services, quote, normal course of business by a legitimate business or its agents, employees, or contractors, but only to one, verify the accuracy of personal information, and two, correct information.
Hmm.
It also includes court proceedings, returning stolen vehicles to owners, for any government agency to carry out its functions. Excuse me. Also for producing statistical reports, as long as no personal information is published. And this is like, I think the category that I'm like most concerned about in terms of like selling information are surveys, marketing materials, or solicitations that private citizens have the option to opt into.
Yeah,
Which already is like, did we really opt into marketing materials that just show up on our
exactly.
doorstep?
Yeah, it's like when you sign up for a website and they're like, "Can we add you to the mailing list?" They already have the box clicked.
Exactly.
Like you have to be the one to unclick it.
Yeah, so like people who don't
So it's
realize, that they've signed up for this stuff
yeah,
is where it gets a little shady because these
yeah,
companies can just like take all your information and sell it off.
yeah.
Because this law mostly makes it illegal for private citizens to obtain any of this information, but that means it has nothing to do with like corporations or
Yeah.
businesses or anything. So, yeah. California was the first U.S. state to implement anti-stalking laws and criminalize it according to the definition, which reads, engaging in a course of conduct directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to A. fear for his or her safety or the safety of others, or B. suffer and or I guess B. suffer substantial emotional distress. Conviction for this crime does not require physical harm.
Wait, so it does not require physical harm.
No.
Okay. Well then that's good though, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But things often escalate to that point before anything is ever done about it. Or
Yeah.
it's taken seriously, particularly when it comes to men stalking women.
Hmm.
So, it's just, it's very clear that it doesn't require physical harm,
Yeah.
yet that's what it takes for it to become
Yeah.
noticed. And the National Violence
Yeah.
Against Women Survey reports a, quote, lifetime prevalence being stalked at 8% in females and 2% in males, depending on how strict the definition.
Yeah. I'm seeing some serious issues here with this legal definition stuff.
I wish I had a more legal definition, but like honestly, it was so hard to find like
Yeah.
I mean, I also didn't this isn't a well-researched podcast
Oh, I meant
whatsoever.
like illegal, like loopholes, not like the way that you did it. It's just like their vague language and like depending on the definition
Yeah, my
of
roommate and I kind
stalking.
of talked about it when I was like originally researching. And I was like,
Hmm.
it seems kind of, what is considered substantial emotional
Hmm.
distress
Hmm.
because that could differ for everybody. Like some people are easily emotionally distressed, like for example, me.
Oh yeah, or me.
But like some people are fucking badass and like, it takes a lot for them to be distressed.
Hmm.
And so, like some people are paranoid or whatever, and that's often why authorities are like, oh, you're just being paranoid, or like, oh, you're just, you're hysteric or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, but like, my roommate was saying, like, you can't really, like, be more specific about it because people have varying levels of how, like, they're affected and how they react. So it's
Hmm.
really hard to put in specific definition as to, like, to a certain extent, like you have to have these symptoms or whatever to like
Hmm.
qualify to have to be suffering substantial emotional distress.
Yeah, yeah. It's like reasonable accommodations and undue burden. That clause. It's like
It's super
very
vague and like
vague and
varies
case by
from
case.
case to case. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I feel like it shouldn't have to like we I think you said earlier about how it shouldn't have to take physical violence to get a stalker like to suffer the consequences. But like it also shouldn't have to take like a certain degree of emotional like distress to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like people shouldn't have to be utterly traumatized before like the problem is taken care of.
Right. Like, so going back to the example, not the example, but the event
Hmm.
with the instance with the knife at the set at the movie set,
Hmm.
where the guards are like, "Oh, you're here with a knife, just go away." Like, I mean, I feel like they're a little bit more firm than "please go away," but
Yeah.
like also, like if this, I don't know if this law would have allowed them to actually call the police and be like, "Hello, this
Hmm.
guy's actively stalking Rebecca. Can we do something
Hmm.
about it?" Especially now that he's a knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know,
And he showed us the knife.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not gonna try to make like projection or like
Hmm.
projections, theories, whatever, about if they had taken action against him when he came to the studio, would he have gone on to follow her to her apartment and, you know, shoot her?
Hmm.
Or, like if would she still be alive if they had done something about it when he came to the studio the second time?
Hmm.
Because I don't think I'm trying to think of like I don't think if he had been able to go to the studio the two times and then make it to her apartment, if he had left her apartment after the first time he came to her door, went to go to the do whatever for the next hour before he came back, if she had called the police in the middle of those two visits,
Hmm.
would she still be alive? Like, would the
Yeah.
police be able to find him? Like,
Would the police even believe her?
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if the law would have protected her if it
Hmm.
was already in place or not. Like, especially because as we've discussed, what is substantial emotional distress? What
Hmm.
is the safety of themselves? Like, it's just so like it's so broad. I don't even know what
Hmm.
I'm trying to say anymore. I
Yeah.
just either way,
No.
she's no
Just
longer with
like.
us, and I don't know if anything could have helped her
Yeah. Yeah.
when it comes to this law specifically.
Hmm. Yeah. And me and my therapist in the past month have been talking a lot about like policing and like how to feel safe in a society where like the police are supposed to be the ones to help you, but then they're like not actually. And she said like that safety should really come from like a community level of like everyone looking out for each other, so that like if the guys who stopped what's his name from coming into the studio with a knife. Sorry,
Oh, Bardo,
what's
yeah,
the uh, stalker's name? I
Robert
forget.
Bardo.
Yeah, like if like the community had been like, no, like you can't do that. Like
Well, I mean,
you need to stop.
not
Hmm.
even there, because when he went to go to her apartment, like he asked around to see, like, to make sure that she lived there. Like, if anybody came to my
Hmm.
door and was like, "Hey, does this person live at this address?" I would have been like, "I don't know you. Fuck off."
Yeah, yeah, no,
Like the
exactly.
fact that people actually told him where she lived,
Hmm.
fucking amazing. Like, I don't get it. Why would you do that? Especially
Yeah,
to like a well-known celebrity. Like, I don't know what area of town she's. Now I'm just in a full out rant.
no,
I don't know
yeah,
what area of town that she's living in, but I just feel like anybody who knows who she is, anybody who lives in that area would know who she is. Like, I just, I can't believe.
yeah. Like I feel like it places so much responsibility and effort to say like, oh, the law will protect them or like the police will protect them, and when
Mm-hmm.
it's like the community as a whole should like know how to like like tell stalkers like you can't be in this community and we're gonna protect our people, kind of.
If you knew where she lived, you probably know who she is
Yeah.
and like her sort of like public status. Like, God, it's just so heartbreaking because like her friend was also like, oh, I always told her, like her co-star,
Hmm.
the one who played her sister in the show, was like, I always told her not to put her real name on things. Like, send all your mail to your manager's address. Like, I told her how to take all these precautions and still, like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
yikes.
Men are gross.
So
Again,
frustrating.
we come to this conclusion
Yes.
that men have a lot of problems that we shouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Um,
Um,
yeah, so her family held like a ceremony in Oregon,
mhm.
and that is the end of my story.
Well, I know.
I'm
I
sorry.
was.
I wish I had a happier note to end on.
Oh, that's okay. Um, I guess there's my story, but it's not particularly happy either.
That's fun. That's fine.
But it's a lot lighter than some of the stories I have been doing. Well, I don't know if it's lighter. Anyways, and maybe I should just tell you the story and then we can find out together.
Sure. I'm on board.
Okay.
200%.
Um. So I didn't title my notes this time.
Oh, man.
I know it's tragic. Okay, so also I changed my story an hour and a half before we were going to record
Okay.
because yeah, so I was just like getting way too deep into the research and also like the topic that I was doing was very close to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that thing where I'm like, okay, I need to save this for a different time
Mm-hmm.
because there's too much and I want to do it well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch to this thing. But it's it's actually good. Have you heard of or ever been to a Rebar in Seattle?
No.
It's that gay gay bar slash club in the Denny Triangle downtown on Capitol Hill.
I don't go to clubs.
Okay, I mean
I've been
yeah,
to a
like
gay club,
I
but I've never I don't
yeah,
ever.
especially
What am I trying to
now.
say? I don't know. I've been to a gay club, but I don't
You
go
don't really
regularly.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been here either,
I've been to a gay
but
club, but I don't go to gay clubs.
yeah, the only gay bar I've really been to is Wild Rose, where I got tipsy for the first time in my life, and I'm never gonna do it again.
um, I think we went to Neighbors. That's the one in Cap Hill, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
went to Neighbors
Neighbors.
uh freshman year.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so Neighbors does like the after a certain hours, like you can be 18 and up.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Um, so we went on like Wednesday night at like midnight.
Yeah.
Um, that was fine, I guess.
Hmm.
It was very loud. I'm just not a big fan of like
Like loud dancing, glittery screaming.
I don't know, like it just wasn't I don't know how to describe it, so just I
Okay.
keep going.
Well, you might be interested in this bar because it's a historic Seattle landmark and it's also very haunted.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's called the Rebar, spelled R-E-B-A-R.
Okay.
And I'm sure that you've seen it because it's like a very distinctive like single story metal kind of like ugly industrial building and it's just one story surrounded by a ton of like skyscrapers. Like developer Seattle
I don't get
gentrification.
over to this area a lot, so
Yeah.
I'm googling it right now and I'm
Okay. I guess I would have to go through there every time I came and went from downtown at my old place, so that's probably why I know it.
yeah, I might have seen it like on my way to therapy probably because it's around there
Yeah.
and I have to walk past the
Nice.
bus stop. I don't know. Never been.
Gotcha.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, is this like there's the corned beef building? Okay.
Yeah. You mean what is it, like Marketplace Meats?
I guess.
There's
Um,
there's
what
a
is it?
teriyaki place and then Marketplace
Yeah,
Meats right
Midori
next to it.
teriyaki, and then Market House.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Market House Meats. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever seen the bar, but I've definitely seen the corned beef building.
Yeah. Um,
I also don't like remember places by their names. I just
kind of.
stuff like corned
You
beef
go
written
there.
in huge letters on the side of the building. It's the
Yeah.
corned beef building now.
I mean, I do love a good corned beef building. It's pretty good. Um, so, rebar is a lot of things and very undefined. It's a gay bar slash
Hmm.
club slash theater slash punk venue slash goth bar in Seattle,
Love
and
it.
it's on the cusp of the Capitol Hill neighborhood and the downtown Denny Triangle area,
Okay.
um, which we already know, but in case any of our non-existent listeners don't know Seattle, but
All right, I'm
two
gonna
different therapies.
close Google Maps. So,
Okay, so you don't get distracted.
yes.
Okay. Um, so the building that's now known as Rebar was built in 1930. It's an old building, but it's not particularly fancy or stand outish. It's like basically like a big metallic square with red paneling and red lights on the front. And it sticks out now because it's surrounded by a bunch of high rise buildings. As I said before, like rich people condos and whatever tech bro shit's going on. Um, yeah, but before the bar became Rebar, it used to be a boarding house, and it kind of had a sad and shady past.
I mean, who
Um,
doesn't at this point?
for instance, in 1910, a visiting French engineer was found dead in his chair by the landlady,
Oh, yikes.
Mrs. J.F. McCorkle.
At first, I
Um,
thought you meant like near the landlady, and I was like, did she not notice?
no, she went into his room and she found him
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
dead in his chair.
yeah.
Couldn't find any more information about that, but also, as I said, I did my notes rather quickly, so I
I
might
mean,
have some
that's
updates for you later.
information enough, honestly.
Yeah. We've also got like a lot of other weird stuff to get through, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
And then in 1914, a guy named E. Vital, whose family struggled financially, he placed ads for work, desperately seeking employment in the Seattle Times, and he listed the Rebar's property as his address. And then, someone the same year, possibly E. Vital, was trying to sell resurrection plants under the same address. Do you know what
Oh
a
my god.
resurrection plant is?
I don't, and I desperately want to know.
Okay, so honestly, when I looked it up, the first thing that came up was a YouTube video.
Hmm.
So, and like, basically, it's like a dried out plant, and then you put it in water. And it's like, have you ever, like, seen those, like, tiny packed up like sponges or
Yes.
washcloths that like expand
Yes.
into like
I love
full
those. Oh my
sized
god. We used to just get
office
them,
toiletries.
and
Yeah.
like they would never last in our house to like be actually used as what they were
Mhm.
because me and my sister would just dump them in water. And like that was
Yeah.
our fucking like the oh god the like you get like a dinosaur or like a little tiny man and they like
Uh
expand.
huh.
That was our
Yeah.
version of that. Like we didn't care about those. Like we had some of those, but we're like, no, these towels and sponges much more entertaining for some reason.
Mhm. Yeah. So basically, it's like that, but it's a living plant that can like
Interesting.
um that is dormant for like years and years and years, and then you can put it in like a bowl of water, and then it just
Is it like they
expands into
discovered?
like a fern like thing. So like big,
But like
but
it's not like a plant that they discovered that's like super small and they like drop water on it. And they're like, ooh,
I don't. Well,
is it like preserved
I
plant?
I think I'm pretty sure it's like preserved. I didn't look
Okay,
too into the
I'm gonna Google this
anatomy
later.
of it,
Let me write this down.
but yeah, it's really fun to watch.
Uh,
I think it's
that's
like the plant can go dormant, and
okay.
then you put it in water, and then it
Does this pen work?
comes alive.
It does.
Yay!
I'm at this like phase where I like only write things on my phone now, so I haven't used a pen in a while.
Oh well. And then like your handwriting is like super bad because you haven't written in a
Right.
while. That used to happen to me all the time.
Ugh,
Like over in the summer, and then I go back to school and I'm like, why is my handwriting so bad?
I know.
Um, yeah, so someone was trying to sell resurrection plans in 1914. I don't know if they were successful, but they also placed an ad in the Seattle Times doing that, so I don't know. And then in May 1930, the Seattle Times also did a crime report on a drunk man who apparently saw his reflection in the window of the rebar building and smashed in the window because he thought he was interacting with another drunk person. But it was just his reflection.
Valid.
Yeah. So Seattle Times has this quote, police arrived to find him cursing or nursing a cut foot. The police said he was very drunk.
I can imagine, yeah.
Um, and then this is where the gay history starts. Well,
Okay.
the official gay history. Um, so the place got a lot gayer when the old structure was torn down, and the Nighthawk Tavern was
Oh my
built
god.
and started booking cabaret acts and general gay revelry.
Love it.
Is how I described it. Um, how would you feel now about admitting the name of our higher education institution for the purpose of reminiscing about the Nighthawk?
I know. I was gonna say, like, did they start the Nighthawk service? The, like, public safety never walk alone service?
Yeah, like based off of this, I don't know. Oh, the God. Um, for listeners, when we get listeners who might be listening to this,
Who did not
we
go
went
to
to
SU?
Seattle University. Finally, we're just gonna say it, Seattle University, and our mascot was the Red Hawks. But then, campus security, public safety, they had this fleet of cars called the Nighthawk, and they would go to pick you up and drop you off to places, right? Like at a
Yeah.
certain time of night, so that
Within, like, a certain radius.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, it's just interesting
I
that
used it a couple
that
times.
there
It
was a
was
gay
fine.
bar in 1930 called a Nighthawk or the Nighthawk, and then the fleet of public safety is also called the Nighthawk. Anyways, I thought that was funny.
I can't imagine that, like, SU would have named it that if there was still that bar.
Oh, yeah, no,
They
like
probably would have not.
Father Steve probably would never allow
He would have
that
called it,
to
like, a safety hawk or something.
safety hawk. Write that down. I want that.
Alright.
I I have a pen, but it's not working.
Alright.
Now I
Safety
have a
hawk.
pen. The safety hawk. Oh, every time I think about Seattle gay culture meeting Father Steven Sunberg,
I
it's
know.
like,
He's retiring. Or not retiring. He's leaving.
oh, great,
Yeah.
good.
Well,
I mean,
I think the official
but
wording was he's stepping down.
oh,
I don't know what that means. If he's still going to be there, but he's stepping down
yeah, he's
from
stepping
president,
down.
anyways.
I mean, he was going to retire in 2 years, anyways, right? 2 years as of last year.
I mean, who else was going to retire? Boom, boom, boom. Who's the Patriots player? Tom Brady is not the Patriots player that I'm thinking of. I don't know. There was a player that, like, every time they won the Super Bowl, he was like, yeah, I'm retiring. And then, like, the next year he'd be back in the Super Bowl, and you're like, what the fuck happened? He's like, I'm retiring this year.
Oh my god. Yeah. People are
Or, like,
very
Lance
upset with.
Armstrong. Oh, I'm retiring. Oh, but I'm actually back to try to win my 7th Tour de France. Oh,
Oh
but
my
I'm also...
god.
Sorry, I've been watching a lot of sports content recently because I've been really
You're
interested
good.
in doping scandals. It's a
Oh,
problem.
yeah, all that shit's really interesting to me. I love true crime that doesn't involve like, like
People being
murder,
injured?
people being injured. I
Yeah.
like it when it's like a scandal, but
Hmm.
if it's like this woman was murdered in her new apartment, but
Okay,
she
I will
just
tell
moved
you
it
about the Great
into.
Canadian Maple Syrup scandal next week then.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I just listened to an episode about it and it's
Canadian
interesting.
maple syrup. Ooh, it's like a breath of fresh. It's like, well, Tiger King was sad because the animals were being
Tiger
abused, and
King
then
was
also because people got hurt.
emotionally distressing.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, back to the story. Um, so the Nighthawk was built, and then shit got really gay. Um, and then, so from there until 1983, the building was again renamed as a dance club called Axel Rock, owned by Alex slash Axel Herbin and his partner Rick, who was also known as Rocky. So it's like Axel
Okay.
Rock.
I was
Isn't that
like,
adorable?
did they mean to say something else? But I love
No,
it.
it's so gay. Um, and then the AIDS crisis hit,
Not great.
and um, everything went to shit, and straight people abandoned us, and it was great. Nope, I don't even feel comfortable saying that's great, even jokingly. No. Um, yeah,
Yay.
the AIDS epidemic. And it's just, okay, side note, it's just like extremely like more emotional to think about AIDS
Mm-hmm.
like right now with COVID happening.
Mm-hmm.
I know that
Absolutely.
it's like not the same thing that's going on, but like
It's people
it
ignoring those who absolutely need help
exactly.
and just
Yeah.
having no care in the world to like keep other people safe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And a lack of effective central leadership or
Mm-hmm.
even central caring for uh, the people who live in the U.S. Um, yeah, so AIDS hit, and then both Axel and Rick got sick. And Axel Herbin passed away pretty quickly in 18. Wait, I forget what year it is. In 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think early on in the AIDS crisis, and then the club shut down. Um, and then it became, it was resurrected again like a resurrection flower
I was gonna say, did they
when
pour a
it,
little bit of water on it?
yeah, pour some
Revive
water on
it?
it. Um, all of our
You look a little
tears,
thirsty, honey.
yeah. Um, So it lived on to become Sparks Tavern, also just known as S, which I think is cool.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, and then, so when it was Sparks Tavern, full length stage plays were added to the books. So, like, right now, Rebar is like a combination of things, like, or not now because, spoiler alert, it's closed due to COVID.
Oh, well, yeah.
Um, yeah, but,
It, in its current form.
yeah, in its current form, no longer. But it was a theater, so it held plays. It also has like a really long running spoken word poetry series of
Mm-hmm.
events. Obviously, they do drag shows and performances. They hosted Nirvana's release party for Nevermind.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Um, but
I
yeah,
also don't follow
so
Nirvana. Don't go to gay
yeah,
clubs. Don't follow
I
Nirvana.
don't I know I don't either, but it came up like in every single source for this place that Nirvana held their Nevermind, which is an album they release party on September 13th, 1991, a Friday.
I was gonna say, was it a Friday? Alright.
Yeah. And then the band members of Nirvana, they proceeded to bring a lot of Jack Daniels to their party, and then they started a cake fight where they threw cake everywhere, and then they got kicked out of their own party.
Real mature, guys.
I know. And on another better know, the queer theater icon Dina Martina started there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I don't know Dina Martina's work very well.
I feel like
I
I've
feel
heard
like
of
I
her.
have heard her name,
Yeah.
but she's like a big queer theater icon, is what I know at the mo. Is what I know at the mo.
I love that.
God. Um, okay, so that's basically like the non-ghost history. Now we're going to talk about the ghosts.
Okay.
So, a lot of people died or had like some kind of trauma before it became a bar and probably after as well, but like mostly what we know about is like the French engineer being found by the landlady in his living chair and shit like that.
Good stuff.
Um, so former owner Carla Schrick, wait, oh my god, Schreiker. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Former owner Carla Schreiker, aka DJ MC Queen Lucky. I feel like I feel like she was at our drag show at CLU. MC Queen Lucky.
No?
No, I don't know.
I mean, maybe
Um,
after I left, but definitely not while I
yeah,
was there.
I don't know. Either way, she
We
was the
had,
former owner.
we had Mama Tits.
Yes.
We
Oh, yeah,
had,
Mama Tits. Who was like,
I don't remember who we had my second year, but our third year, or my third year, Alexa Manila was supposed to be our MC, but
mhm.
UW ended up having their drag show the same night we did, and she was like, I'm gonna go perform there. Sorry.
I
So,
mean,
like,
I understand.
right. But, like,
Yeah.
at the last minute, she informed us. So,
Oh,
at the last
oh,
minute, we
that's
had to, like, call Donatella and be like, hello, can you MC instead of just performing? We'll pay you
oh,
more. Like, we'll pay you what Alexa Manila was gonna get paid.
uh-huh.
And so, I mean, she so nicely did it. But
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know who was there my fourth year. Because I,
That
like,
sucks to cancel the
completely
last
left
minute.
that. Yeah, I mean, like, it's understandable.
Yeah,
But it would have been nice to, like, have some sort of, like, transparency in terms of, like, we knew, or she probably knew when UW show was going to be, or, like, UW knew
yeah,
when their show was going to be. They probably should have, in their planning
yeah.
process,
Hmm.
asked us or told us, or, like, she should have told us that they were considering her. Like, I just feel like everybody knew in this situation when both shows were going to be.
Hmm.
Or, I mean, like, just Alexa Manila at least. Like, because we didn't know when UW's was going to be. We don't talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter. I just,
Okay.
I'm bitter about poor planning, not
Yeah.
as much like UW
About like her
stole her or
choice.
her choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bitter
Like
about poor planning.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Um,
But I mean, she could have the one that you mentioned could have been the MC, my fourth
mhm.
year, or any
Cool.
the year after that, I guess, when you were still there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Anyways, very wonderful drag queen, I'm sure, because I have not met a drag queen that I do not like so far. Maybe I haven't met enough drag queens, but
Most are pretty cool. Yeah.
if yeah. Um,
Sorry, I just
no.
describing a drag queen as cool.
I,
Like,
I mean, we're both like not cis, so we can do that.
well, no, just like cool as a descriptor is technically not technically, but like generally used like as a. I feel like in a masculine context.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Um, I don't really know what you mean,
Like
but
cool, dude. Like
oh,
yeah,
oh, yeah. It like how like bros talk to each other.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Very bro
gotcha.
talk.
Bros talk.
All right,
Okay.
so far off. All right, that's my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. Um, so DJ MC Queen Lucky, she told the Seattle Curb, which is a news outlet that I relied on heavily for this story. She was telling about one time that her bartender was locking the office door. and something happened. Um, quote, the lights were out and her back was to the dance floor. She felt someone behind her, turned around, and saw a woman's face in front of her. The bartender got the distinct feeling that this woman was mocking her, laughing at her for being startled. Then this figure sort of sucked into, or, sorry, then this figure sort of got sucked into a little light, like old TVs when you turn them off. The screen would shrink into a little light and then blink off. This is how this figure disappeared.
What?
Yeah. I
And
don't.
they weren't on a screen though, right? They just disappeared like that in
No.
thin air.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
so it's like the woman just kind of was like a bleep, like a
Yeah.
like an astral projection or something, I guess. Is what
Just
I
got
would think of
sucked
it
into the
as.
next dimension.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
Mhm.
Not for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah. Pretty not great. Another time also, this was during closing. One of the guys who they described him as the door guy. I don't know if that means like bouncer or like the door,
I mean,
the ID
technically, yeah.
checker. What?
Technically, bouncer, I
Okay,
guess. But, like,
bouncer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Um,
the ID guy.
yeah. Um, so he turned out the lights as he was closing, but then he saw someone coming towards him. So he tried to step to the side to like let them by, and the article described it as like that dance that we do when it's like we're trying to let someone get
Hmm.
by, but then they keep like following our steps. Like
Mm-hmm.
we turn right and then they also go right. And it's like, oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But so then um, this person wasn't really a person; it was a shadow, and instead of
Wait.
instead of trying to sorry. So the door guy was trying to let this alleged person pass, but then the person chose to instead just go right through him in shadow form.
Ew.
So
Ugh.
yeah, it
Ooh.
like
Just got,
it
like,
makes me think of
tingles
in
in
the
my arms. That's.
yeah
Yikes.
in like the first Harry Potter movie, how like Voldemort just like
Mm-hmm.
straight through
Mm-hmm.
Harry. Yeah. Um,
That always terrified me as a kid. I was
yeah,
like,
that was a
no thanks.
lot. Yeah. Um,
The ultimate violation.
yeah. So like, I guess the shadow just kind of yeeted out of there, Voldemort style. I don't know,
Ooh.
but this employee refused to close alone ever
Yeah.
again.
Don't
Hmm.
blame them. Honestly.
Moving down the list, there's also a mysterious smell that, quote, infrequently but powerfully emanates from beneath the stage. I feel like that can be used to describe Susan's farts
I
sometimes.
was, well,
Infrequent but powerfully emanating.
I'm a little bit skeptical about this one because that could be just like old basement smell.
Yeah, no, okay. But when employees go looking, they can never find a source.
I mean, old basements just smell like that. There's no source.
I think it's like worse than like a basement because they were like describing it as like rotting meat.
Oh,
And
ew.
yeah, so like
No thanks.
the article was by the stranger and I like didn't want to take their descriptions because it said like a dead animal or is it a hobo living in the
Oh,
wall? And I'm
nope.
like don't do that.
That's
So,
no.
but like that was how the stranger described the smell. So let's just say rotting meat. I don't think
Okay.
people ever smell like rotting meat unless they're dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're just gonna ignore what the stranger said on that one.
Okay.
Um,
It's a recycled body.
God damn it. Last but not least, my favorite, is that there's a BDSM leather daddy, a ghost who loves to toy
Oh.
with the
Okay. Hold
stage
on.
lights. Oh, you thought that I meant like a living BDSM leather daddy.
No, I thought you meant that there's like a letter written about BDSM just posted on the wall.
Oh
Like a
no,
ghost letter.
no, a leather
Got it,
daddy.
got it, got it, got it. I'm
Um,
sorry. I don't I don't know where my brain is today.
that's okay.
Clearly paying attention as I'm doing other
That's
things here.
okay. Um, yeah. So I want to know a lot more about BDSM leather daddy, but
Me
every
too.
source just like references the leather daddy, but I couldn't find anything in the time that I had to like
I mean, I
really
feel
get
like it's one of those
into.
things that you like look it up and like everybody quotes everybody else and they only have one thing to say about it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like also like it says that his favorite thing to do is to toy with the stage lights. So it's like
Hmm.
I feel like if he was like doing more things and like touching people or like I don't know, like getting involved, like we would probably hear more stories. But
Mm-hmm.
like if the leather daddy just likes to play with the stage lights, then it's like I don't know.
Is he really
And
a
maybe
leather
that's all
daddy?
there is to it. I don't know. I mean,
If that's all he's doing.
yeah, I was thinking like I feel like we've all well, all of us gays have at some point in our life just met like this really big, burly, gay leather daddy who is just the most wholesome man ever, and we love him, and he's so sweet. And like, I just imagine like that kind of like ghost forever in his like BDSM where just like being very wholesome and like, oh, I don't want to do anything that like creepy ghosts do. I just want to like mess with the stage lights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, just like knowing like daddies who are into well, one dad,
Let's start there. Daddies.
daddy. Oh, and by one daddy, I mean possibly Susan's foster dad.
What? Oh.
I mean, no, no. I'm sorry.
What is
Let me
going on?
clarify that I don't have personal experience
With a
with
daddy?
with the.
I don't want to
I'm
be
just
here
so
either. Never mind.
confused.
Goodbye.
What?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either. I'm like just trying to come from the point of like wholesome queer culture and BDSM consent culture that
I'm
it
the
makes
one
sense
dragging
to me.
us into the weird.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Please continue. I
that's
will
okay.
exit. We can close that door.
Okay. I just wanted to say that it makes sense to me that a leather daddy at a club who's a ghost would be like playing with the stage lights instead of like attacking people. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just makes sense to me culturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's like what I was trying to say. Backed up with my limited like experience talking to friends who are leather daddies.
I mean, that's.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's also a ghost of a woman, and we don't know who she is, but she cries in the disabled bathroom.
That's me.
Yeah. But also like get out of the disabled bathroom if
Yeah.
you're not disabled. But also she's a ghost, like, okay, you can hear it, just don't cry on me while I'm peeing, so
Yeah.
you know. Um so that concludes that part of the story about Rebar. Um, an employee in one of the articles was talking about how Rebar taught them that businesses can be ethical and that having like normal, regular sized people as bouncers is a lot more effective than like having like six muscle men
Mm-hmm.
because it just creates like a trusting environment and how like the culture of Rebar is very much like a community that looks out for each other and it's not really defined by convention. I like was totally getting flashbacks to like perks of being a wallflower when like reading people's description of it like oh it's a place where all the misfits go
Oh.
and And it's like genuine. So I'm like, okay, I'm not mad about it, but I'm just like, this is totally that that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very sweet, honestly. But so Rebar, even before the crisis, has been at an extreme risk for shutdown or at best displacement right now, as a lot of local businesses in Seattle are. So the property is owned by Diamond Parking, and they put the property
Mm-hmm.
up for sale at $6.4 million as of last year. So they're like actively trying to sell like rebar. Um, which means that also like a gentrification is bearing down on the rest of the block too. So like
Mm-hmm.
the the meat place.
The corned beef place?
Yeah, yeah. So the corned beef place is at high risk, and it's been since 1948. So that would suck if like one of the
Yeah.
oldest like delis in Seattle went or got torn down. The current owner, Dave Wilson, told the stranger, quote, "We've been told that we have about a minimum of 2 years before they start bringing the bulldozers."
How can you be such an asshole?
Yeah.
That kind of asshole. To go, like, what kind of big corporate brain do you have to be that rude?
Yeah. You know what's worse though is that I forget what homeless shelter it was. It was the oldest youth homeless shelter in Seattle with like 500 occupants, and that property was being sold to a developer, and then they had to shut down the homeless shelter or relocate. So
Yikes.
yeah, just like I don't know, like do these people not have souls? Like
Nope.
what the fuck is happening? I don't know.
I
But
just.
yeah.
I don't.
So
I don't. I don't support it.
yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say on that. Alright.
yeah. Um yeah, so that's the bad news. And then so then the way that the owner dealt with that knowledge that okay, our like diamond parking is trying to literally sell us. He put out a survey to the community that basically asked like, should we stay, close, or relocate? And I forget what the source was, but like they said that the response was largely like just dig in our heels and stay here. So like yeah. And then COVID hit. So
Yikes.
yeah, so as of now, from what I've read of like since May, I think. So Rebar obviously had to shut down because of COVID. Um, and they're not going to reopen at the same location.
Okay. I was
They said
wondering,
that
like,
they're
where would they relocate to, though?
um, yeah. So a source from May said that they were planning to reopen in the fall at a new location in South Seattle, but they didn't say
Okay.
like where in South Seattle, and also reopening in the fall at this point probably isn't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. Um, yep. So that's the end of my notes.
Yay.
I was like, this is it going to be like such a fun light episode, and then I like remembered at the end like we talked about gentrification and destruction of our home,
Yep.
and I was like, oh yeah, that's not fun.
No.
Um,
There are other gay bars in Seattle that you can definitely go and, like, support and make sure, like, this doesn't happen to them, too. So,
oh yeah, oh
um,
yeah, yeah.
once they
Maybe
reopen and stuff, like, make sure that you get on, skedaddle on down,
get on
support your
it.
local businesses.
Yeah. Um, I know. I feel like and maybe I'll look to see if they have like a donations fund available and we can post that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do businesses are they taking donations right now? I don't really know how that works.
I think some are. I don't really know.
Hmm. Yeah. I just think like just like with the business's history, like going through the AIDS epidemic, I just like really hope that we make it out of this one too.
Yeah.
Um,
Support your local businesses. Yay!
yeah, support them. I know. I like.
I'm letting you take the lead on this episode, so you know it's
Okay.
you gotta close this out on a.
Okay. I gotta close this out on a good note. Okay. Give me like 2 seconds to think of a good
Mm-hmm.
note.
Take your time.
Um. Oh, okay. So next week, when we record, here's what I'm gonna have for you. I'm gonna
Okay.
have updates on Rebar
Mm-hmm.
to see if I can kind of find more about like what's going on, where they're going, if they found a South Seattle location. Also, I'm gonna try to find out more about Leather Daddy and just give an
Yes.
update about the Leather Daddy ghost.
I would love an update on
And
Leather Daddy.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Because I did do these notes in like the last minute possible, but I feel like it went fine. It's
Yeah,
good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool.
I enjoyed it.
Um,
Leather Daddy.
Leather
Weird
Daddy.
smells.
What if the weird smells are coming from the Leather
Oh
Daddy
my god,
ghost?
what if Leather Daddy has like a ghost sex dungeon underneath the stage?
Oh my god. What if like
Oh wow.
rotten meat plays into that?
Okay, no, I didn't want to go. No.
Okay, well,
Yikes.
you left me no choice.
I
No,
know.
actually, I like totally inserted myself into that. I did not
Just a
mean to
little
say
bit.
that. Okay. Do you have any final notes that you want to add? Want to take us through
Hmm.
our social handles?
Yeah. You can find us most places at Horror Corner Podcasts. So places like Instagram, Twitter, iTunes,
Patreon.
Patreon. You can also email us at horrorcornerpodcast@gmail.com. You can email us suggestions, reviews, just general corrections, comments. It'd also really be great if you can go ahead and leave a review on iTunes. That really, really helps us out a little bit in terms of redirecting your content to keep you more entertained if we absolutely bore you. We would love to know about it. I think
Um,
that's it. I mean, you can
Send us
find,
pictures
yeah,
of all your cute animals for sure.
please
Cody
do.
says only dogs, but I say everything.
Listen, I have a problem. I'm too dog obsessed.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
I know. Okay, so Hollis, my new roommate, they have a cat,
Mm.
and I think I'm a cat person.
Oh my god. Yesterday in the group chat, my roommate texted me and my friend, and I had sent a video that was like caption this, and he was like, "Oh, my reaction to the cat that walked in through our window last night," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, one of the nights, like this past week, a cat just walked through our open window in the middle, like,"
My
and I
God,
was like, "What? I don't. Why didn't you tell me?"
Jesus,
I mean, probably because I was ready to sleep, and he was like up playing Paper Mario in the living room.
my
Um,
God.
but I guess a cat just walked through the window, and I was like, "Excuse me, hello,
Wow.
Mr. Cat or Miss Cat or Cat." Uh,
That's like when I woke up at like 3 a.m. one night last week to find like Hollis's cat just like sitting in my wheelchair staring at me in bed.
oh my god.
That was very good, but also a terrifying.
That was honestly my least favorite part about living with a cat. Just like, they're not. I feel like maybe because I'm more dog obsessed that like I notice dogs a little bit more, but like I don't know. Living with this cat was like he would just show up and I'd be like, "Hi," or like he'd just be sitting there and like I'd go around and sit down or whatever, and then he'd still be sitting there. And I'm like, "What are you? Are you okay? Like, do you want something from me? Like, I don't have any treats. Do you want me to get you something? Like, play with you? What do you want?" And it's
Can
just
I
like
help
it's a
you?
exactly like it's just like a matter of like I don't know cat behavior and I'm just confused by it all the time.
Yeah.
But I
Oh
was
my.
just like, you're not even my cat. Like I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. Kat and Susan love each other.
That's good.
And we also call Hollis's cat just Cat sometimes.
Uh,
So if I just
our
say like
dog's name is
Cat and
Lucy, but we
Susan,
never call her that.
shh,
We always call her Dog.
dog. Yeah, but Hollis's cat really wants to play with Susan. Susan just does not read cat language.
Mm-hmm.
So she just like stands there like looking at him curiously and wagging her tail, and he's like rolling on the floor like batting at her trying to get her to play, and she's just like, I have no
Not
idea
having it.
what's going on right now.
Amazing.
Um she also expresses an inappropriate level of interest in Hollis's rat, I would say.
Okay.
um we tried to introduce Susan to the rat a few times, and we still can't tell if Susan is just like really excited, like and wants to like snuggle the rat, or if she's really excited and she wants to eat the rat.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's stressful.
yeah, I would just call it an inappropriate level of interest. But
Yes.
I don't know her motivations. Anyways, does that count as a dog palate,
I think
as a
so.
pet palate cleanser?
Yeah.
Cute. Okay. Well then, I'll take us out, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much for listening to us in the Horror Corner. We will be back next week. Better, bigger, and better than ever. Um, I don't know what that looks like, but
You'll have
we'll
to
be
find out next
back,
week.
and you'll have to see. Yep. Okay. Cool. Thanks so much for listening. My name is Elle.
I'm Cody.
And this is the Horror Corner. Thanks so much. All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.